So there was a time we visited the correctional facilities, and that changed the storyline of what I do up to date. I got to meet an ex-convict who has been going to the prison for about five years. And so he returned back, and everybody was shouting, "Ah, see me seafood, see me seafood." And everybody was surprised that this guy is coming back to the prison again for, almost the sixth time. And so he was invited into the office where I was, and he was questioned, and he narrated the story. And the story was actually about, getting a job at a particular place the last time he was there. And so the boss got to know that he was an ex-convict, and the boss, had to tell him to
To
leave
leave, yeah, the stigma.
the stigma. So the boss was not comfortable working with an ex-convict. The boss told him he was traveling. So after some time, he went back to that particular place thinking maybe his
He's
boss is
back.
back. He got there, he saw another security guy working there, and he asked him that, do you know if there was somebody here before? And the guy said yes. He got to know that somebody was here, and then the person used to be an ex-convict. That was why he was sent
Wow.
uh, off this place. So he was baffled, he was bittered, and he felt, well, if that is the case, perhaps he should. So he committed another crime because, of course, there was no
He has
job
to
for
eat.
him. Yeah, so, and the way the prison system is, yes, you don't have freedom, but there is one thing that is unique. You are going to eat, and you have a place
You
to sleep.
eat.
So if you are in the city, if you are in the
You
community,
worry
you
about
have to
paying your
pay.
rent.
Yes,
Yeah.
pay for food. And so he felt, okay, let me commit another crime. And that was what took him back the sixth time that he was there. So, I mean, when you talk about education, what you hear on the media is that, hey, we have graduated 150
150
people.
million.
We now have a doctor in. These are people that have been educated even before they go to the prison.
True, yeah.
My research, my undergraduate research was on prison education.
Education.
Masters, and hopefully in my PhD would also be in that line.
Yeah.
I have the outcome of it was that 7 out of 10 inmates are either dropouts or do not have access to education. So the 3% is what you see that is celebrated on the social media.
Yeah.
And mind you, the 7% that are not educated or that are dropouts are the major hardened criminals, are the criminals that
That's
will
a
still
very large
come.
percentage. They're still coming
They
back
are
to the
the
society.
ones that will come back to the society and continue to be criminals
Definitely.
because they were not educated.
Hi everyone, you're welcome to yet another exciting episode of your favorite program, Starspod. Don't forget Starspod is your window into the life of young ones, where we bring young people who are doing pretty well in their various fields. And I remain your favorite host, Temi Tokwe. My guest today on the show is Mr. Mafhuz Alabidun. He's the founder and executive director of Inmates Educational Foundation. He's a Mandela Washington Fellow as well as an SDG Fellow. One thing that stood out with him when I saw his profile on LinkedIn, where we're chatting before the show, is that he has provided 2,000 inmates, more than 2,000 inmates, with mentorship, counseling, and educational materials. He has extended prison education to Osun State, Lagos State, Ebonyi State, Kano State, and now to Ibadan. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest there. Good day.
Yeah, good day.
Okay, trust you're good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm
Yes,
good.
I know I've like mentioned some of the things that you do, and but tell me, let's take it back to the traditional way. Let's background. How's it like?
Okay, so I am opportune to be educated, from the background. I have the opportunity of, going through the NCE at the former Michael Lotodola College of Primary Education, and now it is Lagos State University of Education.
Okay.
And so then we used to have Michael Etodela College of Primary Education. So I studied computer science mathematics. And so yeah, for some reasons, I never wanted to be just a classroom teacher, but I just wanted to, impact in a bigger way. Then I never knew how it's going to be, but I felt, okay, I can do something in education. And so I did another jump and, applied to Lagos State University. I studied educational management.
Still in line with education.
Yes, still in line with education. So, and during that period, 300 level, I used to be one of the leaders in the school, in the university, active in politics, active in religious activities, and, student activism. So, there was a time we visited the correctional facilities, and that changed the storyline of what I do up to date. I got to meet an ex-convict who has been going to the prison for about five years. And so he returned back, and everybody was shouting, "Ah, see me seafood, see me seafood." And everybody was surprised that this guy is coming back to the prison again for, almost the sixth time. And so he was invited into the office where I was, and he was questioned and he narrated the story. And the story was actually about, getting a job at a particular place the last time he was there. And so the boss got to know that he was an ex-convict, and the boss, had to tell him to
To
leave
leave, yeah, the stigma.
the stigma. So the boss was not comfortable working with an ex-convict. That really, he didn't know that was the reason why. So the boss told him he was traveling. So after some time, he went back to that particular place thinking maybe his boss is back
Yes.
and maybe he can continue his job. And he got there, he saw another security guy working there, and he asked him that, do you know if there was somebody here before? And the guy said yes. He got to know that somebody was here, and then the person used to be an ex-convict. That was why he was sent uh, off this place. So he was baffled, he was bittered, and he felt, well, if that is the case, perhaps he should.
And then I don't think I have a business.
So
A level
yeah,
job.
so he committed another crime because of course there was no
He has
job
to
for
eat.
him. Yeah, so and the way the prison system is, yes, you don't have freedom, but there is one thing that is unique: you are going to eat and you have a place
You
to sleep.
eat.
So if you are in the city, if you are in the community,
What
you
about
have to
paying your
pay.
rent?
Yes, pay for food. And so he felt, okay, let me commit another crime, and that was what took him back the sixth time that he was there. So I was challenged by that, and I felt, okay, I don't have money, I don't have something to give, but I'm opportune to be educated. How about if you go in the line of education for these people? So, and that was what motivated the project that I run today, and yeah, so far the guy was opportune to also be empowered, and also continue his education. He's now a student of National Open University,
Wow.
and he's also doing well for himself in terms of some skills, and he has a family and he's doing fine. So, which means that what we have today is not actually that people actually wanted to commit crime, but we are not really looking at the angle of empowerment. We're not looking at how to empower people so that they don't necessarily be poor.
Yes,
We don't have poverty. Once we have poverty, people are going to commit crime.
definitely.
So, and that is the line at which the country is going at the moment. So that was how we started. And, today we've been able to expand to over five states: Lagos, Oshun, Ebonyi, and Kano. We're also looking at Oyo State in a couple
Very
of days,
soon.
very soon. So, and what we've been able to do with this state is we have been able to, aside from the fact that we provide a conducive environment for learning in our prison centers, we also provide teachers. We have trained teachers that will provide deploy to those correctional facilities, and we also prepare them for GCE exams, external exams, And we have students who are also in the national and pre-university through that. And in overall, we've done about 2,000, 3,000 inmates that have been impacted. So we are not limiting it to the adults. We also consider the young offenders who are known as the juveniles. So we discover that some of them parental factors, some of them community, the peer influence, and all. So we do more of mentorship, guidance, and counseling for them. And we also we started the digital literacy skill for them.
Because everything is going global
Yeah,
now.
so we started with the juveniles, and during this summer holiday, we started the planning of digital literacy 2.0. We started last year 1.0. So this year we're also planning to do something fantastic, talking about chess, games, and some other intellectual
Yeah.
things they can also work with. Aside from the fact that we have teachers that also teach in those places as well.
Places. So thank you so much. That was very, very inciting, I must say. And
Um,
coming back to you, what was your childhood dream like? What was it you wanted to become? Have you always wanted to become a teacher? Because you started out with NCE
yeah,
before going to Lagos State University.
yeah.
Or are you one of those child that, as a child, that wanted to become a pilot or a banker, a medical doctor, and that just happened and you found yourself in
Yeah,
NCE?
yeah. So for me, my parent, let me start with my parent, because obviously almost 90% African child, their parents dream for them.
Okay.
They have a dream for them, but the reality will set in as they grow.
Definitely.
So my parents wanted me to be a medical doctor, and
As expected of an African parent.
you know you are either a doctor, a lawyer,
Or an
or an
engineer. What are
engineer.
you doing?
So, and my parents, particularly my dad, wanted me to be a medical doctor. And so after some time, life happens, and I had to start from NC. And I must appreciate him, because at some point he saw that, okay, you may not really be a medical doctor, but you can also be a teacher.
Teacher.
Why I need to appreciate him at this point is that he was one that actually enforced me to go get form for
Instead
NC
of just waiting
instead
and
of just
pushing,
waiting.
yeah.
I remember that very morning we spent almost 2 hours, dragging that I'm not going to be a teacher. I don't want to go to NC. But look at it today,
Yeah.
So he perhaps he must have seen another dream that I did
You
not
did not see.
see,
They didn't put.
So
Yeah.
he tried to convince me that teaching is also good. It's also a way of impacting, and so I took up that. And when I wanted to go to the university, he was not even aware. I decided that myself, that okay, I want to make an impact. So let me say this now. Yes, I started with education, and I fall in love at some point. So while in the College of Education, I had this notion that I don't just want to be a classroom teacher. I want to be a teacher with impact, with influence. So yeah, classroom teachers also make impact, they make influence, but
Understood.
I wanted it to be distinct. I never knew this is what I was going to do, but I knew and I wanted to. And so when this happened, when the notion of, okay, why not start this prison education stuff
Education.
happened, I felt, yes, I'm on the right track. Because it's like everybody will always say, this is unique, this is different, this is
Definitely.
exceptional. And of course, it's not common when you see people go to the prison. They are either going as a pro bono lawyer, they are
Yes.
going as a
As
welfare,
a
they
church,
are
as a
going as
mosque.
religious
Yes,
bodies, but
definitely.
nobody would ever want to. Even the government is not really thinking in that line. Even if, as much as we have it in our policy document that inmates should be empowered through education and all, but they don't know how to go
We are
about
still
it.
coming there to the government and the
so
individual
so
parts.
so I felt that is a dream that came true for
Yes.
me. And and so we started that way. And today I'm happy. I used to say something, it may be offensive to some people, that there is no job that I can do that will give me satisfaction as to what I'm doing now. And I think I'm enjoying myself. Yes, I don't have money, I'm not known, I'm not a celebrity like everybody wants to be celebrity today, but I don't care because I'm comfortable with what I'm doing and I see
You're adding
satisfaction.
value to other people.
Yes,
Yes.
and adding value and I see satisfaction, and that gives me joy. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's that's very nice. And I must say thanks to Dad for pushing you to go to NC. Then
Yeah.
you managed to say that what an is an adage
Hmm.
that they say that what an elder can see while sitting.
Sitting.
As a child, even if you climb on your own tree, you might not even see it at all. So
So
how has this journey, your decision to go into prison education
mm,
and just start out empower prisoners,
mm,
inmates, and see what they can do for themselves. How has it been? Because I know that it has not been rosy. It has not been a
yeah,
smooth journey
yeah,
all the way.
yeah, yeah.
So just how's your experience been, the good and the bad?
So, so one thing is that starting out something that has no template, has nobody who you can say has
You are
done
looking
it
up
before,
to.
can be difficult, and so I know when I started, even myself till date, I don't really have a direction of this is so. But once I'm on the field, that the direction comes.
Comes,
You
yes.
know, I mean, I wouldn't have thought of starting in other states. I wanted to stay in Lagos, continue to do the way we do, but life happened. I was supposed to go for service in Ebonyi State. I never wanted to go. I spent a lot to do relocation, do so many things. It didn't work. In fact, because of that, I got extension for my NYC. Life happened that I had to stay back in Ebonyi State.
After your service, where you didn't want to go
And
to.
now almost everybody thinks I'm based in Ebonyi State
Wow, because you seem
because I have to
frequently.
go. My project is there. I've gotten so many awards. I'm now in partnership with the government of Ebonyi State, and so what I wanted to say in that is that life would happen, and then you just have to follow by that. So it has not been easy. Getting people to do things for you can be very difficult.
Definitely.
So what I did was that in most cases I only give out tasks to people that I feel are can do the job
That
for
share
me,
the
that
vision a
share the
bit.
vision a bit. So not everybody is even convinced about, are you sure this thing we are doing is even real? So, and then when people hear praising, a lot of people want to have a setback, that are you sure I'm not going to be hold, or are you sure the inmate? I've seen two cases has happened. The case of somebody even asking that, are you sure they're not going to hold us down when
They
we
are
go
not
to the
giving us
prison?
time to come out.
And then there was a time that even an inmate was even trying to woo one of our volunteer teachers, to try to write, auntie, I love you. I want it. So for good 2 days, the
The lady,
colleague, the
yes.
lady was not really getting herself,
Mm-hmm.
because she was
The
like,
fear, oh, if I go
how
there, I don't
can
want to come out.
image? So those are some of the challenges that
Yes.
we face because of the kind of place that we do what we do. And then of course some people challenge me that, oh, you are doing a lot, you are doing great, why is it that we don't know you on the social media? Why is it
Mm-hmm.
that we've not had you like today, like this, like that? Like
Yes. Yes.
when I went to the US, there's a lady that almost want to spank me. I don't want to, because the way she was approaching me, that you have a marvelous, fantastic project and
Yes.
nobody knows about it in
She
Nigeria.
knows how that can be. And
And then she was trying to mention names, slum to school, this is that. And I was like, my project can be different because I can't just take gadgets to the prison. It's not
yes,
possible.
person, yes.
These are people that
You
whatever
cannot
they
show their
do,
face,
I
yes.
mean, they are doing slum to school, slum to this, slum to, everybody can see it. But
Mm-hmm.
mine is can be a bit difficult because
Challenging.
sometimes even for you to even approach the staffs or the in charge of
You have
the
to write
correctional
letters
centers,
and
you have
More
to
than
do so many
letters.
underground things. Not
Yes.
only letters, your
Mm-hmm.
letters can be,
You
you have to
somewhere.
do so many underground things. The Kano that we launched, we spend almost 2 million naira launching project. Do you know that we fought tooth and nail for us to even get gadget to the prison to even capture what we did? I mean, some people are doing things that are just 50,000 naira and the
And
whole
it's
world is
everywhere.
knowing about
Yes.
it. So you can imagine that kind of, so that those are some of the challenges that we are facing. So, it can be very frustrating even after you've done that. And it's only people who believe in you and who believe in what you do and that would say, okay, let me spend on it. The world is now the world of what we see on social media. So if people are not seeing it,
They are not working. Talking about people who believe in you, how do you get people to, see the dream?
mm,
How do you get people to, um, let me say, young individuals,
yeah,
to say, okay, I really want to do this because I don't know, is it a non-profitable thing that they just do and
to
just doing out of
okay,
charity? Yes, how
okay,
do you get people to say,
okay.
okay, I
So
want to do
so
this?
so for me, I've been blessed, and like I said, I used to be a student leader while in the university, so I had some advantage of influence over the youth, over the people who look up to me and say,
Yes.
"Oh, I want
You are
to."
doing
So,
this, you want to
I
help
mean, a
out.
lot of people that are still working with me today are people that came themselves. I never called them. So there is one of them who is my project manager, who is like my right hand man. He was a chairman of a committee of a major program that we used to do then in the university. We call it Jihad Week. It's one of the
Yes.
major events on
For
campus as far
MSS
as
thing.
for MSS. So he was my Jihad Week chairman. He was my chairman at that time. And after the service and everything, he just came to me. Let me start working with you. We can do this together. And I was for 2 days. I was like, are you sure this
Can
guy
you
can
can
do?
do it?
There's no money. Oh. He said, no problem. And today, a lot of grants, a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that do it. I just give final approval. Yeah, there are some trainings that we did. There are some things, there are some guides, but the passion was there and he was willing to work. And I have so many of them like that. And then for me, people may see Nigerian youth as Nigerian youth are only after money.
Yeah.
But mine has been a different narrative. I mean, the whole of the states I've been working with Nigerian youths that I don't know. I'll just tell them this is what we want to do, and
And they would see key into the
and a
vision.
lot of them key into it. How did we start the project in Osun State? When I was serving in Ebonyi State, there was one of them that were together, and he said, when I go back to Oshun, I want us to start this project. How? I said, don't worry, just go back. When you go back, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
After a month, he started calling me. How far? Are you not coming again?
Again.
I said, okay, I'm coming. And then, so he's now a coordinator in Osun State. Same as, there's a lady that was also working with us in Oshun while she was serving. Now she has been disturbing me about Oyo State. Coincidentally, somebody just said, I want you to start in Oyo. This is a particular fund to, and she is going to be our coordinator now. So I have different people
Mm-hmm.
that they just believe in the
In the
whole thing
dream,
and they
yeah.
key into it.
I think you are blessed with the gift of people. That's what I'm
So
saying.
yeah, let me say that I'm blessed, and they never trouble me to say because you are not paying. I mean, I'm not, because I'm not paid too. So
Definitely.
and anytime I call them, they are willing to give their time, give their skills and all.
And that's
So,
it. So, what has been the most touching thing that has ever happened on this journey?
and this journey. So you mean touching positive or negative?
Both, because both can be touching positively and it can be
so
touching
so
negatively.
uh the negative is that I was pained to the marrow, and I almost backed out was when I came back from the US. I mean, Mandela Washington Fellowship that we went for is not to automatically give you a check to say you have funds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the US government invited you, they want to train you, they spend on you, but at the end of the day, you are not coming with bag of money.
Definitely.
So while I was there, they started calling me from a particular correctional center that, okay, we want you to pay for GC from blah blah blah. And at that time, we didn't even have anybody to sponsor. So some of the stipend I was given at that time, my family is still very young. I mean, my baby was just 3 months at that time,
So you
and
even
my
have a lot
wife.
of responsibility on
So,
you
and
already.
these people, and I felt okay. Let me just do something. I took some part of it to pay, and I was totally broke because I had to make so many expenses and do so many things and all. So I was broke, and we paid for the. And then the prison management said, if you are not paying for their transport from
Ah,
Badagry to,
where they will
uh,
write the
they are not
exam.
going to go.
Wow.
My sister, they didn't go for that exam, and then
After you
and we
paid
have
for,
registered for the exam.
so just from here to just take them there daily for the
And
exams
then the
and
man said, the man was now saying some words that the man was saying, after all, they are not my child, they are not my children,
so
they are not my
why are you
brothers. So
being
then when you know that you don't have the money to do it, why did you even say you want to even do it in the first place? I was like,
and this see them why cannot return your money? It's gone.
I mean, they have the
The
what's it
exam
called, photo
number,
card. They
yes.
have everything already. So it's not you can't. It's just for them to go. And that was the period that this NLC wanted to have the strike.
Strike, yes.
The first time, not
Yes,
the
yes,
recent one. That was last year. So it's the first time. So the man was now using the advantage of that. They've given them order that no inmate should go out, because I think after that, maybe second day, they call off the strike or something.
yes.
So the man was using that as even an excuse, and after we've paid. So I was not like, this money will have been used for my
For
own
you, for
direct
someone else,
family,
your
for my
family,
immediate
even the
family.
inmates, they've been preparing. They were really looking up to it, and they
So,
want to write the exam.
and I was pained that I almost gave up, but
Now
it's part of
let's
it.
see the negative, because I know that in your line of work, the negative can really outweigh the
Honestly,
positive
honestly,
anyway.
honestly,
So what's
honestly.
that one positive thing that has happened that has
Thing,
touched you and you're so happy, like, oh, I'm really
yeah,
glad I did
yeah,
this.
yeah. So the first one was the recognition, and I think that was the first recognition that
Whatever.
brought us to limelight, to say,
Okay.
okay, I think this guy has something in store to deliver to people. That was when His Highness Muhammad Sanusi SDG award came up. So I was just I just saw this thing. Let me just apply for it, and then I applied, and I didn't even know it was that big person that
That
was in
was
charge of the
putting
whole
out,
thing,
yeah.
that has the idea and all. And then, so when the process started coming, the interview and all, one of the team was now saying that, "Huh, I'm not sure you know what you are doing,
Doing.
because do you know that His Highness Sanusi Lamido used to talk about your project everywhere he goes, even up to the United
Yeah,
Nations."
so you are going to be like, really? So people are saying
So
it.
I was like, this my little self doing a little thing. I've been in two places that he mentioned. He didn't even know. His Highness was not. He's not aware that I was
You
there,
were
and he
there.
was referring to my project. And he has done so many. And then the day of the award, I was opportune to meet about three governors. I was opportune to meet the Oni of Ife, and so many people. And I was happy that, so you can actually do a little thing in a small place, and the whole
Yes.
world would celebrate you
See it,
one day.
yes.
I mean, after that time, I wanted to, some of us are just small, small Lego boys that want to do something different. So the governor was going by the pathway, and then all his ADC were saying, "Geh, geh, geh." So the governor saw me and said, leave him, leave him. He's one of the awardees. Let him come and take picture with me. The governor took my phone and took picture with me,
Pictures.
and I was happy
Maybe
that
I'm like, okay, people are seeing
so
me.
so for the
People are
governor to
seeing
even
me.
recognize that, oh, this guy. So there are so many other ones. I mean, the Picnic Award was also a fantastic one, because a friend just called me and said, please, he was even begging me
To apply.
to apply. I was like, me, I'm not a I'm not a celebrity. These ones, they want markets. And the person said, just apply. And then I applied, and after the whole stuff, the next thing I saw was that they've sent mail. I didn't even see it. They just called me. We've been calling you. We've been, okay, congratulations from Pick Me. You have been selected for Pick. I was like, Pick
Really?
award girl. So I called my wife. My wife was like, are you sure this is not
Is
real?
it a scam?
This is not. I said, no, I'm not sure, but let's give it. The lady called back and said, please, we are expecting your photo shoot. We want to do this, we want to. And then, please, do you have an office? We are coming to
To
do.
bring your products and all that.
So before that they want to do like an interview that will be
Okay.
put on their social
Yes.
media, and I was like,
It's looking like it's real.
then I just got a two-bedroom. I don't even have chairs out. So I started looking for chairs, and they
Yes.
said, don't worry, anything you have, we are coming. We'll just, and then, that also because we had a lot of people that voted for the finalists.
Okay.
So a lot of people, even people who were closer to me, were just like, you have to win this award. People
Putting
started knowing
everything, yeah,
about
on what
what
you
I
do.
do. People started reading more about me. People started, so you do this fantastic thing, and we don't even know. People started, if I was in my house and people are calling me that, don't worry, you are going to win this award. We are working. We are going to make sure that you win this. And so everybody was happy, and everybody got to know about what we're actually doing, that
Mhm.
we're actually serious about it. And that also made me happy by the side.
I'm really happy that all these things are happening. It's not just the negative,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I know how those negative can just make you wake up one day and say,
Because
I can't
I'm
believe
not even
why am
doing
I even
this.
doing this? It's not like they are paying me. Someone is giving me money for my
Yeah,
sake.
yeah.
Okay, so outside of prison education and
Mm.
what else do you do?
So I also run an education consulting firm.
Okay.
If you have a project you want us to manage, I also
Related to education.
related to education.
So let me say thanks to daddy for pushing you to
Yes,
education.
yes, yes. In fact,
Everything is
before
revolves
before
around education.
so
Everything you
before
do.
I finished my NYC, 2 months, as if this man don't see again, he just called me. You've not started your masters. What is happening? I was like, let me finish. He said, no, I heard there is form. Come from Lagos, Ebonyi State. Oh yeah,
Everybody.
come to Lagos. Come and take. I was like, this man. And then when I finished now, he started pushing me again. You are going for PhD.
God bless our parents. So it says
Amen.
that.
So he started pushing me now. This PhD now, we have to do
Do
it
it
too.
too.
And then I don't want you to do it in Nigeria, whatever it's going to take. So my parents are not as that Davido's dad and all, but then
They are supporting you.
they just want the best.
Mm,
So, and they always want that whatever is going to cost, we have to do
do it.
it.
That's very
So,
nice. So what else do you do outside of you said just the consulting firm
yeah.
and prison? Is that all you do?
So yeah, so for now, that's what I do, because I mean this project can be consuming.
Mm-hmm.
For the last 2 months now, I've not been staying in my house. uh,
No.
since I came back from Kano, I've been going from Oshun to Oyo State, trying to put things together, and also it can be very time consuming and very demanding, and also that's what I do. Yeah,
Outside, yes. So you're a fellow at Mandela,
Mandela.
Washington,
Yeah,
and also SDG. You mentioned several awards. How does that feel? And how are you able to get those fellowships?
those
How,
fellowship.
how does how does that feel make you feel?
Yeah, so it makes me feel happy that what I did, what I'm doing, is actually bringing some of these,
Recognitions.
glory and recognitions. I mean, there are so many people also doing this that are not getting the recognition, and there are some that are not even doing it, and then you just meet them on the same table that you are happy that you are,
Mm-hmm.
but then life happens.
Yeah.
So you just have to be happy that I did this and I got this glory. So Mandela Washington Fellowship has been a dream while since I have been in the university. So Mandela Washington Fellowship has been a dream because, and then I used to imagine, so you mean US government would take you to the US?
Yes. All expense
You mean
paid.
US, all expense paid, and then you'll be trained in an institute? So it has been a dream, but I never knew how I was going to get it. I mean, I applied when I was in the university once, and I knew that I was not going to be selected. But because of my ruggedness,
You
I
still
applied.
wanted to
So the
apply.
second time I applied again, and I was not also selected. So the third time I pulled up machineries, people I knew, trying to,
Get you through.
and then I was very convinced that I was going to get it because I did all my best. And then so two unique things stand out for me. One was that because I served in Ebonyi State,
Okay.
and then how did I know it stand out for me? They told me themselves that when they saw my application and they saw that Ebonyi State, and then they now read about my biography and
Yeah,
they
like
saw
okay, you're
Muslim,
Muslim,
you can't even
Yoruba.
speak Igbo.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you do that in that kind of, because they also asked me. And so it stood out for me. And this is a place I never even wanted to
Let's
go in the
go.
first place. So it stood out for me. And then, the leadership also stood out for me, the leadership experience.
Yes,
Because
very
I
much.
was able to tell them that, okay, so what I did was I got a lady who was an Igbo lady who speaks Igbo, who understand the community, who I took as my project manager at that time. So she was the one that was fronting. I was just
Yeah,
guiding her
guiding
on,
her, putting
okay,
her
so
through.
let's do this. Okay, we are going to write letter. I write the letter, she's going to submit. So if we are going for a meeting or something, she's going to lead, tell them about what we do. And so we're just, because they see that is their own person, it
Mm-hmm.
was an
They'll
open
be
door for.
open. Yes.
But if it was me, they will first look at me and say,
You
you
cannot even
Yoruba,
communicate.
look at your beards. And then they will start thinking otherwise. So
Yes.
that gave me a leverage to do so many things in that place. And today they don't even want to remember that I'm even Yoruba or I'm Hausa
They
or
still
something.
value your
I mean, the last
ability.
time I was in Ebonyi State, they gave me award that thank you for what you have been doing for us and all. And so that really worked for me. So the fellowship, the awards, I can say that has been the motivation of why we are still doing it,
Doing
because
it.
the stress, the money is not there,
There, yeah.
so then why are we doing it?
Yeah, so do you think more people and the government actually involved in prison education?
Yeah, so two things you asked. So let me start with people in
People,
the community.
yes.
People in the community, we have a negative mind, or we don't even have a thought about people in the prison, not even about education this time around
Just
now.
their welfare.
So the welfare and everything, not a lot of people even know where the prison is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so even if you know, maybe you've read in book,
Or you just drive
you've
past
watched
or just
film and you see jailbreak, and then you know that when people commit crime they're going to
to
prison.
prison.
So have we even asked that what are the activities they do? Or do we even think that once they're in the prison, that's the end? Shebu, he don't offend the government, abi he
Yeah, they
don't
are free
offend, he's
person.
still my person, he kill, he do this, he
Yeah.
do that. So do we even think that there should be a second chance for them? So which is one of the major things that people don't even know, and that's why we have stigmatization.
Yes.
So people feel, if you have been to the prison, you are not normal again. So but never forget that they are humans, and then everybody can be given a second chance. If not, we as human, we commit crime too, but God forgives us
Mm-hmm.
as human beings. And then when we commit crime, we seek forgiveness from God. So why not human beings?
And going there, let me say they are doing restriction. And when they are
So particularly when we know that maybe the crime he committed is not even a major crime,
yes.
or we just have to find a way to bring them back to this. But what we see from people is stigmatization.
Mm.
I mean, from the story I talked about of that guy, and there are
Like that.
so many people like that, that they don't even want to be part of the society again. In fact, that's why we have hardened criminals.
Mm.
Some people were not criminals in the first place. Yeah, they committed crime, but it was not a major crime.
Yeah, might just
But
be a
when they
minor
got there
thing.
and then they see the way you are adding them with hardened criminals, and then they now go back to the society, and the society is not even
It's even
embracing them,
worse.
and they will feel, okay, let me even commit the crime and go back
I'll be
then.
eating now.
And
I'm
so
not
after
parents.
all, so that we need to make a reorientation about that, and our organization is trying as much as possible. There's an event we are planning to have, which is going to talk about the advocacy on the education and reformation for people in prison.
Prison.
So we are also going to target reorientation of people in the
That is very, very
society
important.
about people in prison. Yeah, they commit crime. Yeah, they need to be punished for the offense, but we also need to find a way to reform them for better, and not giving them, the worst of punishment, such that by the time they come to the society, they are going to be more hardened on us. So we are trying to, work on that kind of event. And so I believe that people in the society have a lot to do in reformation. And that's why I always challenge some of these our brands. Some of you would put your money to people that want to dance, that want to sing. I'm not saying singing and dancing is
But
not good,
yeah.
is bad. But then there are so many other things we can put our money into that the whole society, the whole world will be a better place for us to live. So, I mean, when we try to reform people in the society, these are people that at the end of the day, they are going to come back and be better off for us. I give you an analogy. If we are not trying to reform them, have you ever thought that our money, our tax money, is what they are using to reform them? So if you don't give them the better space to breathe, we are just wasting our tax
Tax
money.
money,
That's
yes.
what it means. So the more you continue to pay tax, the more the government remove your tax money to feed them, to provide for them. In as much as we continue to say even the prison itself needs to be reformed, they need to put the structure where they need to do this, if they want to do it, it is still your tax money that will be used to do it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
why not use your own money now to do it before the government use the tax money that would have been used for better things to do it? Why not use our skills? Why not use our time to see how we can reform them? So that's on the people and the
Now
society. Now the
government.
government,
Yes.
you see, the country we are, I used to say it, we are not lucky to have good leaders in Nigeria. Look at what is happening in Kenya, and look
Yeah.
at the way the leader is submitting
So
to the
yeah,
people.
see the way people
I
are
can
even
imagine if that
responding.
happens in a lot of people will just die for nothing. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. People will just die.
Even Nigerians
Unfortunately,
are quick to move on.
so we'll just move on. So we are not lucky to have good leaders in our country, and we just pray that we one day have a good leader. So we have a lot to do by the government. We have a system where you have a policy that talks about what you are supposed to do, and then we are not doing it. And then we are not even seeing a better way to see how we can do it. And then we just, I mean, when you talk about education, what you see, what you hear on the media is that, hey, we have graduated 150
150
people,
million.
we now have a doctor in. These are people that have been educated even before they go to the prison.
Sure, yeah.
My research, my undergraduate research was on prison education.
Education.
Masters and hopefully in my PhD would also be in that line.
Yeah.
I have the outcome of it was that 7 out of 10 inmates are either dropouts or do not have access to education. So the 3% is what you see that is celebrated on the
On
social media.
yeah.
And mind you, the 7% that are not educated or that are dropouts are the major hardened criminals. Are the criminals that
That's
will
a
still
very large
come.
percentage. They're still coming
They
back
are
to the
the
society.
ones that will come back to the society and continue to be criminals
Definitely.
because they were not educated, because they were not empowered, because so we have a lot to do. Instead of just rubbing the surface, instead of just saying we have national
We
open,
need
we
to
don't need
really
national
go
open
deep
university.
down there. Yes.
Yes, we have people who should be educated to the, but I mean there are people who 7% of people in that prison who cannot read or write, who some of them went to school but they didn't even go
They
to
were not
school.
even yeah, they
They
weren't
were
serious with
criminals
school
right
right
from
from
their
start.
secondary school. So we have a lot to do in the prison. And then there are some prisons that we don't even have any structure at all of education. They don't even know. I mean, when we got to Kano, they wanted to do a group of prayer for us that thank you for coming. There is a particular prison, Goronduse prison. The prison has been existing since 119. There was nothing like education in that prison.
Wow.
119 to 2014, 2024. How many
Wow.
years? So when we got there, they were very, very, very happy
Like,
that
okay.
you mean you are this is what you do. You are not coming to come and give us biscuit and
Because most of
tissue,
the
and
advocacy that people bring
you just
there,
want to come and give us education.
education.
Ah, thank you. They were very, very happy. And then when we started and they saw, we never knew this is what you
I'm
wanted to come
bringing
and do.
here.
This is a very interesting project that you are bringing. And so they were happy. So, I mean, that's Kano, a major city in Nigeria. Now imagine some other cities in Nigeria. Now imagine some other cities in Nigeria, how it's going to be if Kano, a major city in Nigeria, after Lagos, Kano,
Yeah,
maybe Port
Port
Harcourt, or
Harcourt.
maybe Port Harcourt before
Yes,
Kano.
Kano,
I know
yeah.
it's one of the major
It's one
cities.
of the major
So
cities in
if we
Nigeria.
can have that, what are we talking about? They were sitting on the bare floor, so we had to put up the structure, put up a good ventilation and all.
For them to,
So we
wow.
did that with the little resources we have. You can imagine if brands can just say, okay, this is what we want to do. We
Yes,
want
it's
to
going to be
build
so
this.
beautiful.
We want to. You can imagine, and you can imagine the outcome of that, of what the image will be. So
So compared to other countries around the world, what do you think is the state of prison education in Nigeria?
so prison education in Nigeria has a lot to do, because I mean,
We still have a long way to
we have
go.
a long way to go. So if I'm to put it from 1 to 10, we are just in 2%. And that 2% is an effort of organizations
The
like
NGOs,
us,
yes.
NGOs,
Religious groups trying
religious
to,
groups who
yeah.
are just trying to do so. That's just it. The government still have a lot to do. So we have a lot of 8%. I just said it. Not a lot of prison have structures. I was in Agodi just last Thursday.
That's the pardon.
They don't even have a they don't the place is so congested that they cannot even accommodate National Open University. But National Open University have their standards.
Okay.
So do you have to you need to have a particular place. The laptops, gadgets will be there. Then they need at least two places for their officers, as in their representative. So even the prison is too small. The warders do not even have office. Some of them don't have office. So how do you now want to talk about? So the government need to now start thinking of how to build structure of education or schools
Inside the
inside the prison,
prison,
aside from,
yes,
because you cannot continue to lock people up,
definitely. And they
and
are
then
not
you
adding
continue
value to
you
themselves.
continue to spend our taxpayers money on
To
them,
them.
and they are not adding value.
And when they
Maybe
leave,
after some
they
time,
still come back to us with nothing
a
again.
governor will say you have given state pardon. State pardon on what?
What?
What is the correctional measures that we have put in
Because it's
place?
called a correctional center for a reason.
So we still have a long way to go. We still have a long way to go in that direction. I mean, in the US, when I was in the US, when I visited, even if their stigmatization is higher than ours, but then they have the whole reformation in place to put them on track to do this, to do that. Their stigmatization, like I say, is way, way higher than ours. And so we still have a long way to go in terms of education in prison. So, and mind you, education is not just about the formal education. We have the informal education as well. So, which we don't necessarily have to say, okay, you have to be a graduate, or after your O level, you have to, once they can read and write,
Right,
which
yes.
is the major thing that we need to focus on. We may not necessarily force them to say you have to finish your O
Definitely. Because
level.
it's not even, it's not, I
So
think the most important education is the GSS 3.
GSS 3,
Yes.
and no, the SS3 is the
SS3,
most
yes.
important.
O
So which
level.
is the O level. So which is one of the major things that our organization is focusing on. And then we also focus on empowerment. So we started the empowerment in Abakaliki, Ebonyi State. We taught them paint making, and we also taught them. We also got a kind of an expert who can also train them on barbing, and we provided some of the things that will be needed. So we are not just focusing on formal education alone. We also focus on informal education. So which is what the government really need to do to really empower them. So if we now do that, we should now start thinking of how do we now empower them financially. Yeah, you've given them skills. People like Tony Elumelu Foundation, organizations like Tony Elumelu Foundation can just identify two, three of them to say, okay, we want to give you this.
Yes.
We want you to start your business. You can imagine how. So if that person commits a crime, we will know that
Okay, it's in your blood.
your own cases. But we are not
Alright.
giving them that opportunity, and you say they won't commit a crime. It's not possible. Why do we have people who steal public funds and all? It's because you are not giving them the satisfactory, take home that they are supposed to get. I'm not
Yes.
talking about politicians, though, because those
Yeah.
ones. I'm
Another
talking
story.
about
Another
I'm talking
day.
about government workers. I mean, we are just signing in
70,000
70,000
naira.
naira. So
And
how
they're
much
happy
is
about it.
so
They
how,
were so happy about it.
so who is going to be happy about that? Is so at the end of the day, you see that we have a long way to go.
Yeah.
We have a long way to go. If we really want to do this, we have a long way to go.
Thank you so much for
Thank you.
watching Starspod.
Thank
And
you.
don't forget to comment, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you really enjoyed this session, this show, this episode in particular, please drop a comment. You can continue the conversation by talking about prison education in the comment section. See you next time. Don't forget that I remain in Career.